going on, guys? It's a little late night practice session. Just had to get out of the house. You know, it's one of those days, a little hungover this morning when I woke up. You know, this was the best. If anybody's kind of back and forth between joining or not joining a private club, Saturday and Sunday afternoons by yourself on the golf course can be very therapeutic. It's just, you go out there, it's relaxing. You're not thinking about golf really, right? You're just kind of hanging out. And then especially if you have kind of a fun type club where you pass the clubhouse or they have a beverage cart, you can have a few cocktails. It's kind of a therapeutic thing to do in the afternoons. For me, it was a complete mental health. When I was in the golf industry the last few years, Sundays and Mondays were my days off, so it was perfect if I was able to sneak away on a Saturday afternoon, get out there, you know, 5, 6 o'clock, play a few holes, have a few cocktails, then play Sunday morning, and then I had Sunday afternoon and Monday to kind of do whatever I wanted, you know. So, yeah, it was awesome. You go out there, and it's tough. I'm getting to that point now where I can talk about him without breaking down, but the dog would come with me, and he stayed right by my side. You know, he grew up day one back in Massachusetts, up in the storage. I mean, in the fitting bay, right? So the sound of a golf ball, or you know, somebody hitting shots or whatever. The funniest one day was I had a buddy in the bay after work. He just stopped by. He was the cutter and buck rep at the time. And he was hitting balls, and I don't know if anybody's been in my bay. You see it, this would kind of be what you were looking at from my desk. So I was sitting leaning against the front desk, and Bogey was on his back, sleeping in between my legs. And every time Chris hit a shot, all 4 legs would flinch, and then he'd stop, and he'd flinch a little, and then he'd flinch a little less. And each shot, it got a little less and a little less. And it was one of those moments that you just look back at, and there's you just can't replace a best friend like a bulldog. He was awesome. It was funny, endless laughs. And I'm getting to that point where if I can get settled and figure out what I'm doing, we're ready to get another one. I think we're going to go with a female this time, and I think we're going to call her Birdie. So, yeah, we got to get going to get that done. So, so anybody paying attention, you know, you heard me talk about the whip, right, as a training aid and a warm-up piece, but I can't stress enough to everybody we talk about with acceleration and freedom in the arms and swing as opposed to hit. This, for $39 on eBay, is probably the best training aid you'll ever get for tempo. So I practice what I preach every time I hit balls, and even some days that I don't, I swing the whip, and I swing it as flat as I can, right? I'm flat, and when I struggle is when I start to get out on my toes and over the top. So I use this to kind of reinforce flat, right? Inside and flat are 2 different things, right? When I get inside, I get quick, and then I got to get over the top. When I get flat and wide, that's when I hit it a long way with no spin. That's why back when I was playing for a living, I was able to hit it well over 300 yards, being 5'7.5", 5'8", and 150 pounds, right? It wasn't about strength. It was about the correct strength and the physics of it, right? Low spin. I was talking to a buddy. He works for TrueSpec, and he put a post up saying the golf ball is the biggest advancement in golf. Well, for somebody like me, the golf ball didn't matter. I could still go back to playing the Tourbalata. I didn't have enough spin to make it balloon, so it played perfect for me. I was one of the minority that didn't gain anything from the 3-piece distance boom, right? My yardage has been about the same forever. My buddies caught up to me is what happened. So that's kind of my swing thought, is to stay flat but not rip it in, right? Flat with width creates a solid base. Now you can just turn, and just once you get here, if you're in the right position, you can throw the club. It's almost like in guys that have been in my bay, I used to do it. I would throw the club 150 yards out of my bay just to give that feeling of just letting it go. And that whip is huge. It'll help you. It's everything that I think of when I'm trying to warm up and practice. If I don't have it with me, I'll try to put two clubs together or something, but create that feeling of that whip. So, yeah, I'm going to get into some practicing and some hitting some balls, and we'll start talking kind of what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what I go through as a practice session. Again, this isn't going to be an episode. This is just going to be on YouTube. So for those of you guys following along on Instagram and TikTok and things like that, I will put a link up to this. I don't know how long I'm going to go. I'm just going to hit balls and kind of chat it up, and we'll see how it goes. So once I get started here, all this is just finding the bottom today, right? You know, where am I? Am I playing a fade? Am I playing a cut? Am I tight? Am I loose? What am I feeling? So these first few swings, don't really care where they go. All I care about is what just happened there, solid contact, right? I just want to find the face. Once I start to find the face after a few of these little ones, then I'll start to stretch it out. You know. See, I felt very tight on that, got a little thin, but again, hit my target, but just got to kind of feel that wrist hinge. I know when I'm not hinging, it's because I'm tight. A lot of cold nights, you know, my arthritis, my hands and my feet struggle in the cold. So it's about 55 degrees right now, and I'm a little chilly, but it should be I should be able to hit golf balls. But a lot of times you see me playing golf in like the fall or winter. I'll have hand warmers in my pockets and things like that, and I'm usually wearing a hoodie. I love hoodie season. Most of you guys have been following along have seen I have a pretty good golf hoodie collection. So love the fall, love fall golf. Nothing better than like 5 p.m. round of golf, either by yourself, your dog, significant other, a couple cocktails, with a little chill in the air. It's awesome. Yeah, that was better. See, a little softer hands. Kind of same result, not much different, a little higher, but much better center face contact. So that's what I'm looking for right now, is center face, and then we'll start stretching it out. It's funny, my description that I just gave of fall up here in New England is basically Florida from November 15th to April 15th. Any sooner and any later, it's still a little too hot, but nice and relaxed. Again, I've been in my head the last few days. I was sitting here watching football. Figured I'd come hit a few balls, go home. What's that? Somebody just walked by and chirped me on the way by, so I'm laughing at them. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I was just kind of hanging on the chair watching football, and figured I'd come hit some balls before I go home and watch the Oregon game. How about Colorado last night blowing that lead? Dion getting after some boys too. Even the son threw a pick late. Gave him shit for that. So yeah, so again, now I'm going to start stretching it out. I'm aiming at the 100-yard marker. For those of you that are kind of wondering why I'm doing this, a few people have been asking, like, what's my routine on the range? And that's something that growing up at a golf course without a driving range plagued me a little bit, right? My warm-up was go to the first tee and let it rip, you know. So when I got access to ranges, I had to learn how to practice. So people ask me that all the time, what's my routine? This is kind of it, you know. Few little wedges, then I'll start to hit a little bigger wedges, and then I'll go through the bag. I usually go every other club, and I'll hit the driver usually after like the 7-iron or something, early enough where I'm not exhausted and I can still feel it, you know. And again, this is a practice session, not a warm-up session. When I'm going to play golf, I don't even hit this many balls. Honestly, a lot of times if I'm playing a tournament, I'll go to the range and take the scraps. A couple balls here, a couple balls there, and I'll pile them together and hit them. You know, I get, because of my arthritis, I get tired. So there's only so many swings I can make in a day. So I don't want to waste them on the range, just enough to kind of get loose. I don't want to stand on the first tee kind of not knowing what I'm doing that day or not knowing what I'm feeling that day. But I also don't want to step on the first tee with my legs and hands shaking because I hit too many golf balls and I'm tired. So there you go. So again, part of that whip, I have to remember once I get back to a wedge or something, think that feeling. That last one, I got a little flattened inside, then you come up and you hit it thin. That one right there, I thought about the whip swing and stayed down on the way back. Most people think, oh, I picked my head up. No, most of the time, it's I picked my head up and it didn't get back down to the ball in time. You know, you watch, how many golfers do you watch? Watch the head. The head bobs up and down, and those are the guys that have trouble with consistent contact, right? One of the things that I focus on the golf swing, I have two swing thoughts. Stay loose, which is done in the waggle of the pre-shot, and stay down, because I tend to come up out of the shot. So that's it. Other than that, I'm just hitting it as hard as I can, right? And we've talked about this in the past. When I'm hitting a half shot, it's short of backswing, I'm still accelerating. I mean, you've heard me say this plenty of times. Yeah, pretty good contact. Now I jump to the 50-degree wedge. It's kind of the routine, and now I start going through my full swing, full shot routine. But you've heard me talk about this. If I want to take something off a shot, usually I do it with setup and backswing, but I'm still accelerating 100% through the ball. So if you don't have the ability to shorten the backswing and accelerate 100% through the ball with the club that you're hitting too much club. So again, this is my 100-yard club. I've actually peppered that thing the last few days. That might hit it. Yeah, a little short. Kind of chunked it just a touch, but yeah, I've been swinging pretty well. I'm thinking I might play golf this week. It's supposed to be decent weather. But again, I'm working on width and accelerate. That's all. That was solid. It's going to go a little left, I think. No, I got it. Oof, almost hit it. That was a good swing. One of the thoughts that I had there. Oops, sorry. One of the thoughts I was thinking there was, you know, hammering a nail. You're never going to hit a nail with tension, right? You let the hammer find the nail. That's a drill. That's something that I do for feel that I teach a lot. So that was what I was feeling on that swing. I kind of went back to my own. You know, I'm a practice. I teach what I practice, right? I don't know the golf swing enough, and that's why I never liked teaching. That's why I was a club fitter. I don't know the golf swing enough to build it. I know what works for me, and that was solid. That ball had no dimples on it, so it kind of knuckled over, but that was a good swing. Usually I try to hit the crappy balls with the wedges, obviously, so that way when I get going with the driver and the longer clubs, I can see what the flight is. But anyway, so we were talking about teaching, right? I'm not the happy-go-lucky. You guys all know me. I'm not the rah-rah, so I'm not going to get all excited over a good shot, and it's, you know, I'm more of a club fitter. I'm more of a stoic, kind of let the numbers kind of do what they do. But one of the things that I did tell people is when I'm teaching, I'm talking to you about what worked for me, not the golf swing, right? I'm giving you slight adjustments to make your golf swing work best for you. If you want a robot and you want a teacher that's going to teach the golf swing, you go see the top teachers, the Tom Kavickis, the Hesters, the Kolofs, the Pat Bigelows. You know, you go see them. You want to learn how to make your swing work. You go see a guy like me. But again, that's why I turned to fitting, because it's like I was good at the flight. Half the time I didn't even need TrackMan. I just kind of, you know, Wally Uline from Titleist had a great line. I forget who told me it. Before there was TrackMan, there was man, right? We fit to eye. Yes, there's numbers that are improving what we did, not replacing what we did. Unfortunately, it's kind of turning to replacing what we did in the golf industry. But you never see a tour pro get fit indoors. There's a reason for that. So that's why it's tough. You know, I get offered these jobs and a little necky on that one. Not bad. Would have hit the green. But I get offered these jobs from all these fitting companies, and I'm just like, it's not me. I'm not a salesman. I'm a club fitter, and you don't fit golf clubs indoors. So that's just my opinion. Again, you guys all tech geeks and things like that. You can do what you want, and I get it. Just I'm not going to join the crowd. I'm a field guy. You know, I have been. I was a field player. I'm a field teacher. How can I fit not seeing flight and not being able to hear and feel when I'm fitting? Oof, I thought that was, oh, it did. It hit it on one bounce. Swinging good. Swing feels good. So hopefully just no weather issues the next few days. And is it raining? Is my phone out in the rain? No. Hopefully there's no weather issues in the next few days. The arthritis will stay feeling good, and maybe I'll play a couple times next week before I start packing up and getting ready to head down to Florida. You know, conversations with some buddies, some friends, you know, a couple job interviews and got job offers that I didn't accept. Kind of got me realizing, you know what, the only thing I know is golf, so I'm going to kind of head south. Right now, I could definitely caddy a cart loop. You know, who knows, get down to some good warm weather and start working out a little bit. Maybe caddy. And then see what happens next spring. Whether I get back into fitting or back in the golf business, who knows? But I'm kind of starting to get the itch again. I started to in July. I was getting really excited about it, and then the health went south again. Yeah, that one hit the board. So again, one after another, I'm hitting that 100-yard wooden board. So I'm hitting good. So I'm gonna hit one more of these, and then we'll stretch it out a little bit. A little off toe on that one. Still gonna be good. Just gonna be a little short. Yeah, I can't be a little short. Still hit the leg on a bounce. Swing feels great. I was thinking about going to the Washington game. My Pats tickets, I'm not. So I'm either going to throw them up on the ticket exchange or sell them to anybody who wants them. Let me know. November 5th. I think they cost like $125 or $130 each. That's what I asked for if I'm selling them. If it's somebody I know is a Skins fan or whatever, I'm sure we could work something out. I only got a couple games left actually, so I'm sure I'll be able to get rid of them. So again, now I stretch it out, hitting a little bit of a 9-iron. We'll hit kind of one short iron, then I jump to a hybrid, then I go into the driver and 3-wood. I've said this over and over again, I don't hit a lot of golf balls because of my arthritis. So I'm aiming at the green 150 out there now. So. Is it going to hit it? No, just a little short and a little right of it, but good swing. That's the other thing too. You don't touch a club, and my weight's been up and down. 137 this morning. You don't touch a club, and all of a sudden, all your strength goes away. So the whip helps with that as well. I got to go buy a medicine ball or something, start kind of do some squats or whatever. I wanted to get a Peloton bike. That was on the wish list when we sold the house. Unfortunately, life happened. Hung that one a little bit, but not a bad swing. Just got stuck. And I know a lot of you guys have chimed in about being amateurs and not really knowing like the Scotty stuff that I talk about and things like that. When I say stuck, what I mean by that is I went this way, I was good, and instead of going this way, I went this way and the club got stuck behind me. So contact was there instead of there, 5-10 yards right. You know, that might have missed the green, it might have hit the green. It depends on how aggressive I was being or where the pin was. Probably ended up about 25 feet right of the flag. But my guess is with a 9-iron, I'm probably going right at it. So if it's pin on the right, I'm in trouble. A little off the toe on that one. A little dippy. See, that's what happens when my legs get weak. When I'm not thinking about a solid base, I get dippy and I jump. It's no good. That's fear of impact is what that is. And it sucks because the only time anything hurts, that one just hurt my hips. The only time anything hurts is when I hit a bad shot. So honestly, I attribute that a little bit to why I may get left, right, but I'm usually in the center of the face because I learned that it hurts if you miss the sweet spot. It's my arthritis. So tonight I'll get home and my hands will be sore because of the cold. And again, it's 60 degrees. It's not like it's cold. It's just cold to me. There we go. That was better. It's a better swing, better contact. So I tend to get open and the ball gets too far forward. So I think that might be happening because I'm feeling like I'm hitting it solid and it's going a little right. I think I'm lining up with the mat, which is posted that way. So again, I yell at all my students, or my former students. I don't teach anymore, but to have an alignment stick doesn't help if it's not with you. Yeah. So I think because of that, again, it's the opposite for me, right? My eye, when I saw that line, it felt good to me because that looked good to me, right? But now that I come over here, I see how open I truly was to my target. So it's one of those things where I got to get an alignment stick. So I usually have them in the bag. I just forgot them today. So, but again, a couple shots in a row with the same result, you got to figure something's going wrong. So the first thing I'm going to check is alignment and ball position. Yeah, see, I feel like I'm aiming over at that 275 marker now. Yep, there you go. And because I was aiming too far left, I was open, the ball was too far forward, and I was getting stuck underneath. Now I put an alignment rod down, first swing, and I could feel it, and the ball comes right back to the target. So you don't need an hour lesson to figure that out, right? There's some things that you should be able to figure out on your own as a golfer. For me, it's alignment and feel. If I have alignment, looks good, feels good, and I'm hitting it sideways, we're in trouble. That's when I start looking, all right, who do I got to talk to? A couple years ago, I switched to a grip. I'm not going to bash the grip because I love it. It's soft. It felt great. It didn't work for me, so I'm not going to talk about who it was, but it was too squishy. And when I got to the top, I would re-grip it because I didn't feel the club. And by the time I got to impact, the face was wide open, and I started hitting balls out of bounds. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I went back to these, which is what I've always played, the cord kind of stout grip. Came right back. So it's something simple, you know. It's listen, just because it's working for somebody on TV, Super Stroke grip's another one. I hated it. Just because it's working for somebody on TV doesn't mean it works for you. So if you don't have these feels, then you're going to struggle as a golfer, and that's what you should be working on feeling things, right? If you can't, you know, I don't like the way that grip feels, or that grip doesn't perform. And if you can't be honest with yourself, you know, you change to a Super Stroke grip and all of a sudden you can't make a putt. Oh, but I love the way it feels. Or you switch to a mid-size grip that's too big for you, that you can't get the face closed and you start slicing everything. Oh, but I like the way it feels, right? You got to be honest with yourself. Listen, the grips that I put on, they're bright, they're loud, they were tacky, they were great. They didn't work for me. So again, if you can't feel these things, you shouldn't be making changes, and all you're doing is wasting money. You know, yes, you may find something, or if you figure something out before you make that change, ask. You know, what will this do? What's the consequences of a grip that's too big for me? What's the consequences of a grip that's too soft for me? Right? That's, if you're gonna make a change, make sure you do your research before you make the change. That's all. You know, listen. Like I said, I've got into it. You know, I used to drive a Range Rover. I was Saudi Cameron Circle T putters. I get it, wanting to have the latest and greatest, and wanting to spend and show out. For me, it was kind of part of the job, right? You know, you're a top club fitter in the country. What's he playing? What's he rocking? What's he use? You know, so it was always kind of getting that stuff. So I get it, and I get the I guess dopamine rush of buying that new toy, but make sure it's the right toy, right? You know, a club fitter that I used to know, it's funny, he made me laugh one day. He's like, I fit so many people at a stock that complain. And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. I would love to be stock everything. There you go. Ooh, didn't get there. Would have hit it, but short. But I would love to be stock everything. Why? Because it's easy. It's always available, right? You start getting into the exotic stuff, and all of a sudden you break a shaft, and now all of a sudden you can't replace it because that shaft has been replaced by 3 more by the time you get there, right? So stock is not a bad word. It's a good word. When you go get fit, if they say you're stock, awesome. I save money. I can go get more lessons, right? It's the box stores that only push expensive products that I have a problem with. Because those guys, they don't know what stock is, and the golfer doesn't get what they're paying for. So that's the only thing. Toys are fun. Expensive toys are even more fun. But make sure that what you're buying is going to work for you. Ugh, didn't win. So it's funny, I'm standing over that shot. I was thinking about something that I was laughing about, not thinking about the golf shot. So that's a perfect example. I was sitting there thinking, we were talking about, you know, afternoon, fall golf, kind of how much I loved it, how much I missed it, short game areas, things like that. These are the things that I loved about being at a private club. You know, whether it be where I grew up or where I worked, or, you know, there was always quiet. You know, the place, top 100 place that I used to fit at, Sunday afternoons, there was nobody there. So 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon, jump in a car. We'd play 36 holes before it got dark. It was awesome. It was a blast. But when we talk about Caddyshack 2, you know, that's why I was a member there. You know, it just was simple. It was a fun spot. You know, you pass the clubhouse after 2 holes. You pass the clubhouse after 5 holes. You pass the clubhouse after 12 holes. And most days they have a cart girl, right? So that is a fun place, and especially when I was dating the cart girl, and then she got off, and she'd come and play golf with me. You know, we have a few cocktails, play some golf. It was fun. So that's why you stay and spend money. It didn't seem like a waste at the time, but as the conditions and the service level and everything kind of deteriorated, it just lost its value. And when my dues were about to go up and Dumb and Dumbo were running it down, it was time to go. So. Another thing too is, like, everybody says, "Oh, you broke up with your girlfriend, that's why you're sour about the place." No, I still played the club championship. I still played 4th of July. I'm still playing golf. Yeah, we broke up, but whatever. People break up. I didn't go batshit crazy until my dog died. You know, and it was more like it was the way he died. You know, the dramatic, just out of nowhere, just straw that broke the camel's back, right? Yeah, I already had so much going on in my life, and then all of a sudden he was gone, and it's like, what am I doing? So. There we go. Little right. So that was aiming at the 275. kind of was a little worried about that. For some reason, it felt a little close. But it's a good teaching one, too. So I'm standing left of the golf ball. The line of the golf ball is what we want going at the target, right? So the line in between us needs to be slightly left of the target. You know, you can't point my body at the 275 because then when I put the club down at the golf ball, it's pointed way right, right? So you got to have your body pointed at the target, but in order to do that, the club is more important, right? Now we have to be a little left of it. So my problem is I overdo that and I get too open and I start hanging it, you know. But so that first swing, I think I hadn't moved the alignment stick yet, and I was afraid of the wall, and I was open 40 yards right. And this thing's my binky. This is my 23-degree hybrid. If I could hit this all day, every day, and just change the loft, I would. Yeah, it's stuck a little bit. Kind of in an odd spot. The heels were on the thing, but again, that's golf. You're going to have different lies, right? Deal with it. So now that the club's getting longer, I'm getting more flat, and my legs aren't strong enough yet, so I'm stuck, and now it's going that way. So it's one of those, just got to build up strength. Just got to kind of get back to where we always were. But it's always been my miss. It always will be my miss. That's the other thing too. You know, guys take lessons and I don't understand why I'm still making the same mistakes. I mean, it's always going to be. You're always going to revert to that. And you've heard me say this 1,000 times. You're never as good as you think you are when you're playing good, and you're never as bad as you think you are when you're playing bad. Right? It's up and downs. Anybody that shoots the same thing every day is an absolute crook. There we go. That was a better swing. All right, I'm gonna hit one more of these, and then we're gonna hit some drivers. Now that we're stretched it out, so this is kind of what I do. I'll keep talking and let you guys watch me kind of hit some drivers if you want. But kind of this is my routine, right? Obviously, when I'm playing a lot and I'm playing well, there'll be more of each shot. And then after this routine, if I'm still playing well, if I'm still practicing or still have time and want to hit more balls, I'll use that. That's when I'll usually go to the short game area and spend some time over there. I love short gaming it. I think you guys have heard me say this, and people roll their eyes when I say this, but it's truly the way I feel. When I miss the green, I look at it as an opportunity to show off. So I love it when I get flop shots or short-sided or whatever, and pull out some ridiculous shit that somebody will look at me sideways, and I'll be like, yeah, once in a while, flashes of greatness. But yeah, it's fun. That's why I'm a match play guy. I love breaking people's hearts. Another good, a little thin there, a little fade, but it was a solid swing. I'm struggling with alignment today. I don't know why. I'm kind of feeling like bunched up. I don't know why. I'm just kind of but again, that's what I'm saying. Every time you go to the golf course, it's something different, right? It's a different feeling every day. Just got to feel your way through it and figure it out. It's funny, guys on my team and stuff used to be like, you get so much out of every round. You're such a grinder. I'm like, you are too? And they're like, I'm just good. I'm just talented. I'm like, all right, well then you're not a grinder. You should be on tour. Let's go. You motivate them, and they're just like, yeah. Ugh, stuck. The funniest is the guys that know the golf swing and know golf and get it, they'll stand next to me on the range, and as much as I say I'm not a ball striker and shit like that, and they'll be like, man, you just have that sound when it comes off the face. Not anymore, because I'm old and weigh 110 pounds, but just a certain, you know what I mean? Yes, I hit it sideways. Yes, I go quick, and I forget to line up straight and hit it 40 yards offline, but you never see me hit like a big slice or a big snap hook. It's usually center cut, aimed on a bad line. That's my biggest problem, even in the golf swing, is tempo. I just go too fast. I got a million things going through my head, and when all I had to do was just think about the golf swing, and I'm pretty good at making a golf swing. Still a little tired, a little stuck behind me. I got to get that face shot. That's all. It kind of feels like a lead pipe today. Again, I've always played very heavy equipment, probably a little softer flex-wise, but heavier weight-wise. So now that I'm, not healthy and lost all this weight, it just feels like I'm swinging a lead pipe. So we have to aim a little further left and take, so I was playing to the telephone pole left of the 200 and the telephone right of the 275. Now I'm going to play from the telephone pole left of the 275 down the wire line because I'm afraid for some, I don't know, psycho today because I hit in this bay all the time and I know I'm nowhere near the back wall, but it's in my head. So that's where we're going to aim there. There we go. That was better. A little heely, but at least it was on line. I gave the club a little bit more time to get that way. I was getting stuck, so I just kind of gave it. That's the problem with me is I have such strong hip and hand action. When my timing's not there, my hips beat my hand, and it ends up outright. I can't get the face square. So the other thing too is I have this set up to a fade. For me, it usually helps with late kick. But when I'm not closing the face and I don't get that late kick, it actually works the opposite. So when I'm hitting it well, it's great and perfect. When I'm hitting it, it's okay. But when I'm hitting it bad, it kind of exaggerates all of my misses. So. Almost fell down. That shows you I'm getting tired, so I'm going to hit one more driver. Again, that's kind of where we're at right now. I don't even have energy to hit a half a bucket. It's kind of frustrating, but we're getting there. Ugh. That's kind of the reason why I want to go to Florida. Is when I'm down, I don't know where I'll end up, but if I end up in like the West Palm or the Delray or Fort Lauderdale or even Miami, there's like everything's walking distance. So I walk everywhere. And a lot of it is walking on the beach and walking in sand. So my legs are actually, they get healthier when I'm down there in the winter. So that's kind of why I'm trying to hit some balls now. And we make that ride down. I'll probably stop in Pinehurst, play a couple times, and then head back down, head all the rest of the way down. There we go. That's the driver to end on. So again, there I slowed down. I took a deep breath. That was enough. That tells me I know where the timing is. So if I come back tomorrow or go play tomorrow or who knows when, I know what to feel and what to think of. So I'm going to hit a couple 3-woods just only because it's a new shaft and it felt good the other day. Now I'm swinging decent, so I want to see what it looks like. Need to change the grip. As you can tell, this was never mine. This is similar to one that I used to play. This was a demo that was in my basement, so still has the stock Titleist Tour Velvet grip on it. It's time to change it. Didn't think I'd ever use it, to be honest. 62 gram driver, 3-wood shaft is a little embarrassing. But it works. Yep, that was good. Little fade. We got to get that toe closed. But again, that's when we're struggling like that. That's all I got to do is figure out, is it faster hands, slower hips, or ball position? It's just a couple swings to figure it out, and then I'll figure it out. So. All right, one more 3-wood, and that's it. We're going to call it a day. I'll probably hit some of that little half wedge. Yeah, that was good. A little toey, but we'll take that. So I'm kind of done for the day. Just a little tired, but again, not even really half the bucket. But it's progress. It's better than lying in bed feeling sorry for myself and feeling sick. So, yeah, it's been a crazy few. Trying to find another glove. Crazy few days since my birthday. You know, obviously giving away the stuff, you start getting a little emotional, but start thinking about the dog. And then an old friend called. We kind of caught up for hours. I hate the phone, so if you know I'm talking to somebody for hours, it's been a long time, years. So again, this is that feel shot. You know, when I hit this shot and I'm comfortable, my hands are good enough. A, I'll never miss this shot, and B, it extends. It helps the takeaway. You know, because this one I'm closed, shut, and trying to trap and low. So as the bag gets longer, this shot actually helps. So when I'm hitting wedges, Old Sandwich had the best short game area. I mean, I could hit like 75 yards wedges as a shot. And that's what I would do. If I was not feeling well and knew I couldn't hit balls for a lot of time, I'd go out there and I'd hit this little half shot that I'm about to hit now. And it was just as good as hitting balls for me. And again, like I said, this today is just kind of therapy. I mean, it's just kind of, I had to get out of the house. My mind was kind of on other things. So, as you can see, this is the shot that Vokey taught me when he fit me for my wedges. It's just simple. There's no hands, dead-handed, trap shot. It's going to take one and stop. It's not going to spin like crazy. You never have to worry about flight with wind and, you know, firmness of greens. It's just going to take that one bounce and grab. Trying to launch this around 28 degrees if anybody's a TrackMan kind of junkie. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right there. That's the shot. One bounce and it hit the 5. But again, you should never miss this. It's effortless. The only way you'd miss it is if you flinch for impact. You know, just let that club kind of feel the weight of the club, do what it wants to do, and you're probably never going to miss this shot. Yeah, that was good. I just didn't hit it hard enough. That was just a lazy swing. But again, I'm working on feel and tempo, so I'd rather miss like that than quick and aggressive and skull it. So, front check. Had to check. Haven't charged the mics in a while. I made sure I didn't run out of battery. But yeah, that's the shot that I'm trying to hit. I just didn't hit hard enough. Perfect shot for 40 yards instead of 60. Yep, that's the one. Yes, that was good. That one had no dimples on the ball, and it kind of knuckled. But it was a good shot, good swing. Again, that's the other thing too. I know what the ball is doing. I don't need the monitor to tell me. So when I'm hitting balls indoors, I'll have the monitor on, but the tablet was usually on my desk, and then I'd check it afterwards to see if there was anything crazy that had changed about my golf swing or distances or anything like that. But I wasn't watching it swing after swing. It was just kind of the grouping. So it's funny. I'm not a tech guy. I don't really buy too much into the indoors and the tech, and but I know it's needed. I know it's beneficial, and I saw it more from a learning standpoint for myself. The year that I was at OS doing the fitting with the Titleist kit, the first year that we had TrackMan, I started doing the combine every week and doing things like that. And it's amazing how much better my game got knowing my numbers, and knowing how to hit that 60-yard shot, knowing what club went 140 on the number, knowing what my miss was, knowing what my weaknesses were, knowing what to work on, right? So if anybody gets access to TrackMan, I suggest doing the combine. One, it's fun. Two, it'll help your game. There you go. That was good. But again, it wasn't about the numbers for me. except for little things like learning, like checking my wedges. You know, I learned how to hit the shot. Vokey taught it to me, the way to hit it and the way to look for it. But I had a variation of this shot growing up at Resi, right? Growing up at Resi, 5,700 yards and wind all over the place. You learn how to flight things. You learn how to hit dead-handed shots. You know, I mean, the dog leg now used to be 3, should be 3, 4. I don't know what hole it is. 6 now, the dog leg. You'd have shots from like 100 yards where if you hit it more than 80 yards, you were going to be on the next tee, right? So you had to hit shots that would flight down because the greens and the lead ups to the greens was so firm that if you got a shot downwind, you had no chance to stop it on the green. So you learn how to hit these shots, right? You learn how to, you know, land it 70 and make it go 100. You learn how to land it 100 and go 100 and maybe hopefully 101 or 99. You know, control. You know, the least variation possible, the better. But again, the thing that I love about this shot is it's a soft but accelerate, right? You're hearing that thud. You're hearing me down through the mat. You know, so again, I talk all the time. If I'm going to change distance, I change setup, stance, backswing. And if I can't control backswing, if I can't control distance with those things, I'm probably hitting too much club. You know, when we get to 40 yards, this shot no longer works. Now that's when you flip to the 60 degree, and now we have another shot for that, right? So it's learning the game, right? It's not hitting shots, and that's what drove me nuts about Caddyshack 2 was it's such a golfer's golf course, and because of how soft it is and how slow it is, it's not fun. Shoot 60, hit it 60. Shoot 150, hit it 150. Like there was no creativity, and it kind of got to be boring. So I drank, and when I drank, people chirped me, and as we all know, I'm a lyrical assassin. It's all in that same spot, that little green spot, just right of the target. So again, something with my timing today has got me just a little bit right. So hopefully on the golf course, I'd find a way to adjust. I have trouble aiming in these boxes because they mess with me. Being as flat as I am, I'm afraid to hit the wall. Another reason why I don't like indoor fitting, I just don't think people make their real golf swing indoors. No matter how open the space, it doesn't matter. You know something's around. That's why I love what they're doing with the Tiger League. It's like supposedly going to be like an arena. So it's not like a golf simulator, even though it's an indoor league. It's in like they're creating like a Tiger Dome or whatever, and it's going to have a setup. So that's cool. They're going to have bunkers. It's going to have a green. So it's not simulated golf, even though it's simulated golf. Another 5. Try to hit the 0, but I'll take the 5. But all I'm working on in this is just feeling the arm swing, right? This is a simple shot, simple swing. As long as I stay off my toes and keep my head still, you know, the ball just gets in the way. Another 5. Peppering that board. But usually it's not golf. Usually it's fatigue, alcohol, or somebody pissing me off that ruins my rounds. To be honest, it's been tough my whole life, especially tournament golf where it's more than 4 hours. You know, now that we're kind of going down the road of like ADD and all that stuff, it kind of explains it, but still it's crazy. I'll play 15 great holes and make 3 doubles. But most of the time, the double is because of a bad tee shot because I raced to the tee and didn't take 30 seconds to think about what I was doing. Like, it's just frustrating, you know? Like, I mean, right now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this in the camera. I'm going to bring it up close, but I literally haven't missed the center of the face once hitting the shot. You can see right there. So that's what I'm talking about, right? It's simple. It's hit the center of the face. It's easy to know how far things go, but most of the struggles that I have are the noodle. Once that mind starts talking to myself, I'm in trouble. And in the last couple of years, I was 3 up in the club championship until the 9th hole when my ex-girlfriend came by me on the beverage cart. I lost 3 and 2 after a 4 putt on 15. You know, it just, you get in your own world. It's, you know, and the kid I was playing with played great. I think he shot like, you know, high 60s, low 70s. I know I was only like a couple over, but it was just a couple bad shots here and there because I wasn't thinking about what I was doing. Get the 0. Yep. Again, that's not her fault. That's my fault. I got to find a way to get outside influences out of my head, just in general. It was funny that when I first started on the antidepressant that they put me on, within 2 weeks, the thoughts on the golf course went from, oh shit, where's this going, to I might make this. So the positivity is definitely there when I'm playing golf, when I'm on my meds. But I just, right now, it's like, I got to get in to see somebody to see if we can shrink the dose or take it every other day or something. Because when I take it every day, it's like this, like I'm chatty and I can't stop. So then you get me around people and I'm chatty and I get anxiety and I'm just uncomfortable and I got to get out of it. So I got to figure it out. But it's all part of life. It is what it is. Yeah, you know, you think about, you know, I kind of wasted the last 13 months since Bogey died. And you go back and you think, you know, you only got so long. It's just, you don't get it back. There's nothing you can do about it. So now that I'm awake again, it's time to start over. It's crazy the difference of feel. Somebody put a good TaylorMade in there. You'd feel it instantly, the difference in the golf ball. It goes from feeling like you're hitting plastic to hitting rubber. That's the difference with feel. All right, guys, gonna hit a couple flop shots. See, somebody that knew how to edit would be able to edit that out. Me, not so much. So as I said the first time we were here, every time I come here, I try to get this station just so I can hit this shot right here. I'm trying to hit the bar up there. I tried it the other day and I was unsuccessful, so we're gonna give it another shot. I am left-handed, so I have a weak right hand. So my natural instinct is this. So flop shots are easy for me. I don't need to struggle. I don't need to lay the face open. I just let my natural instinct of my right hand flipping get under the face and hopefully get the bar. Almost. A little left of it, but I think I hit like 3 squares over. Not bad. That's actually, that would have been a good shot because obviously the bar is a small target. If I'm hitting the net near it, or if I'm hitting, you know, it's more about getting it up that quick than it is the actual target. Because most of the time we do or die with this, the greens, we got a little bit of room, you know. So hit one more with this. As you can see, I've been working all day about ball position. I was standing over it. As I started to move away, I noticed the ball was too far back, so I stopped. So you see Tiger do it all the time. He's obviously a lot further along into his golf swing, but I've learned over time, if my head ain't right, if I'm thinking about something other than the target, it's going to be a bad result. So don't pull the trigger, start again. So what I caught was the ball was kind of back where I had it for that shot. And now I got to, in order to get it up quick, I got to get it further forward. And it just got, I'm glad I caught it, but you know, it takes 10 swings in a row to break a habit. It takes one to go back to that habit. So one bad one to go back to that habit. So if you see something you don't like, don't hit it. Caught that one fat. D-cell, right? D-cell, that's stopping before the golf ball. And again, when you hit a flop shot, it's absolute opposite. If you're D-celling, you have no chance. To hit a flop shot, you have to accelerate. Off of mat, you have no chance on a bad one anyway. But, and again, so all you guys that are crazy about wedges and bounce that are kind of asking for me to do an episode, right? That shot right there is a perfect example. Off of mats, this has zero bounce. This is literally a V grind that goes from an M that is grinded even less bounce when opening it. So this has no bounce, and I still sculled it. Why? Because I decelled on a mat. You got no chance. So all of you guys talking about, oh, I have too much bounce, this, that, and the other thing. No, you're making bad swings. If you're bouncing clubs and you're doing things like that, zero bounce isn't going to help. Get a lesson, figure it out. Going to a wedge with zero bounce gives you almost no shot out of the bunker. Yeah, see, I got to a spot on the mat where it's a little too firm to get it up quick unless you hit it absolutely perfect. So again, that shot I'm only going to hit when it's do or die anyway. So yeah, it is what it is. All right, guys, I didn't even realize I've been ranting for an hour. A little practice session. I'll listen to this when I'm editing it. I'll try to cut in some shots and some pictures of some equipment. And we'll try to make this hour entertaining. Again, I said, like I told you, I don't think this will go on the Spotify or Amazon or anything like that, or Apple, because I think the visual of this and me hitting the shots is better than the sound. So, all right, we're going to go home, watch the Oregon game, and talk some football. Chime in with the comments on the social media. I had some fun yesterday with the guys on TikTok. Actually, not yesterday, this morning. They love the hangover talk. So, yeah, it doesn't happen often, but when I get one, it lasts 3 days. Let's go!